That's a good tip, well done.
But hey, there are times when I really want to concentrate, but unfortunately tiredness catches up with you and gets the better of you, and that's when you start making mistakes. And
everybody pass, and Davide in the small blind, all in.
Katai moves all in, effectively setting Ukela in for his $500,000 chips. And no instant fold. Oh, okay, pretty instant.
Big blind pass, Davide wins the blinds.
Talking to Daniel Negreanu about pressure and how it can get to players in these long events.
Yeah.
How easy it is to forget that when you tune into EPT Live or when you see a hand history on the net or whatever it is, and you think, oh, what's that guy doing? That's just poor play or whatever. It's a very easy game played from the rail, poker.
Absolutely.
And it's a very easy game when you haven't been playing for 4 days and, you know, 6 days, whatever, under constant pressure in these big events.
And equally, as we keep saying, when you see it on TV, you have the benefit of seeing everyone's cards and the benefit of making perfect decisions. So when you've got half information or no information, sometimes you go with your gut instinct, and sometimes that instinct's wrong.
Yeah, we saw when Martin Nielsen moved in with ace-2 suited earlier against Merciers under the gun raise. The frustration of no limit hold'em can get to you, and the more tighter you are and the more you've had to concentrate, the easier it is for you to blow up.
Seems to be a common play at the moment. Gets folded around to the small blind, who then moves all in, and the big blind folds. Merciers dropped below the million mark now. Chip leader still Sebastian Ruthenberg, 1.6 million. And there's the money that the winner will take away.
900 euros. No, they're bundles of hundreds.
And of course, that trophy to the right as well. Free entry to the grand final of this season of the EPT in Monte Carlo. And the bragging rights. In fact, you can wander around a card room going, I've got an EPT title, me.
Couldn't wander around carrying the trophy though, it's a whopper. Be good for a bit, and then you'd have to have a little sit down. Davide Katai for so long, the short stack.
Davide race.
Now finds himself with some chips.
Raising from the cut-off position. Ukela facing the decision. One of the short stacks at the table. Not this time.
Jason pass and Daniele pass.
So more chips head the way of Davide Katai's stack. And theoretically, this final table could actually end very quickly because these blinds really are big. And it's very hard for these players, it's going to be very hard for these players to get away from any kind of playable hand. I mean, you know, even our big chip stack only has 30 big blinds and it's shorter from then on down. I mean, it depends, always depends how the hands fall and that kind of thing, but you know, wouldn't be surprised if 2 or 3 players went out in the next hour, for example. In fact, I think statistically you'd probably expect 2 or 3 players to go out in the next hour, I guess. What do I know? Stop me from talking, James. I'll dig myself a massive hole.
I thought you were talking sense for once. I was actually hanging on your every word.
Well, it's law of averages, isn't it? It's going to happen. If I spend enough hours talking, some of it will be all right. Here he comes again. Different player now, isn't he?
Wow. It's all so different when you've got chips.
50,000.
Oh, no.
But it's 50,000.
He made a mistake there. He got the chip values confused.
Oh, that's... Well, we talk about tiredness and you talk about fatigue and lack of focus, and then he's literally reached for the wrong stack. That's all that's happened.
So by putting in a number of chips that was below the value of the big blind, that's a compulsory call. He has to make up a bet of 50,000. But everyone will know that his intention was to raise.
Yeah, you get yourself in a lot of trouble when this kind of thing happens. I went out of a tournament a couple of months ago where I intended to raise and I just called, and I thought because I'd done that the other guy was taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He had a really big hand. It's a weird situation now, both for Davide and for the other players.
2 players.
And this is the kind of situation where, you know, if if Fintan Gavin flops a big hand and ends up busting Davide.
Flop comes 5 of hearts, deuce of spades.
That's a big blind
7 of
flop, isn't it?
It is,
Fintan
yeah.
first to speak.
Check.
He checks and check.
Check, check on the flop. The turn card.
Turn card.
There's a jack.
Spades.
Fintan Gavin is reaching for chips.
Yeah, he's going to put Davide on a pretty, let's say, traditional range of hands.
And
He wanted to
Fintan
raise from early position, so a lot of the hands that he wanted to raise, but then he doesn't bet on the flop, are 2 big cards. So Fintan can bet here whether he has something or not.
Bet is 145,000.
And Davide lays it down. Fintan Gavin is often fond of showing his cards in a situation like that. Not on this occasion.
Well, that's just a bonus for Fintan Gavin. He probably wouldn't have been in that pot at all if the raise had gone.
Plenty of support for Fintan Gavin in the stands. Kara has been catching up with some of his fans in the stand.
Found in the crowd here is Bob and Bridget Willis. Now, Bob played this event on day 1, unfortunately busted out, but has stayed behind to rail a fellow countryman, an Irishman there at the table. Isn't that right?
That's right, that's right. We're here to back Fintan and hope that he'll do very well. He had a bad beat last night. He had a pair of queens. He was up against an ace-king, and the other guy was all in, so he lost a huge pot. He would have been a serious contender had he won that pot, you know. As it is, he showed magnificent, absolutely magnificent courage to come back, and fortitude and everything that goes with it, to come back, slowly build up his stack again, and I've got nothing but admiration for him, you know. Absolutely.
Wow, we're going to have to keep our eyes on him, so I'm sending it back to you guys in the commentary box. Thank you very much.
You're very well.
We've got fans for all these players watching from the sidelines, railing these final table players. The Italians have been particularly noisy, I
Very
find.
noisy, unlike Bridget and Bob, who are coming around to mine for a dinner party in a couple of months. Looking forward to that.
Just keeping a close eye on the email inbox. Remember, it's nuts@eptlive.com if you want to get in touch. And Dima from Germany says, can you please spell the password for the EPT qualifier, because I don't speak English that well. Dima, it is COREN 2006. Coren with a small c, so COREN 2006.
We've got an all-in.
Re-raise all in.
Davide Katai raises again, which would be 3 hands in a row that he meant to
Small
raise.
blind and big blind pass.
Matthew's all in. Automatic call, of course, with the
So
stack.
Daniele
Yes.
in with ace of hearts, 8 of clubs,
Ace 8
and ace king
for Matzia.
and for Davide.
Ace King for Davide. Matzia dominated here and needing to get lucky, or he'll exit in 6th place.
Once again, ace
Yeah,
8
tough spot for him because he's got a
for
playable
Daniele,
hand,
all
but
in against ace king.
he has no fold equity in that spot, so he's hoping that Davide has, I don't know, king queen exactly, I
6
guess. But,
queen 7 with 3 clubs.
well, almost impossible
This
now.
for Daniele.
Needs an 8 that
Davide
isn't
also holds the ace
an 8
of
that isn't a
clubs, so he has
club,
the flash draw.
all running
Daniele
straight
needs
cards.
an 8 and no more club to come.
The turn card
Turn card is a queen.
is another queen.
Looks like the end for
No.
Matzia.
He needs an 8.
2 cards in the deck.
Last card is a 6, which makes a split.
It's a split pot.
Yes.
It's a
Oh,
split.
excuse me, it's split.
Queens and 6s with the
Queens and
aces.
6s. Ace kicker.
That's extraordinary. Didn't even see it. Cheeky little split pot comes up on the rail and he refuses to die.
The immortal Daniele Matzia. So still around 300,000.
You'll see if we get the wide shot, the other 5 players absolutely delighted about that 6 on the river. Well, I apologise for not spotting the extra outs that he had.